Hello everyone, I hope you are doing great. Let's start with the introductions API first developments with OpenAPI specifications. Let's first understand why we need API. With the help of API, we expose our resources to outside world. Like we created some endpoints, post endpoints, delete endpoints, put endpoints. With the help of these endpoints, any clients can interact with our resources, can create the resources, delete the resources, and update the resources. These kinds of operations client can perform totally depends on the endpoints which we are exposing to the outside of the world. Those endpoints can be consumed by the web applications, mobile applications, desktop applications, and even some other APIs. Why we should follow API first developments? First, let's understand what is the meaning of API first developments. An API first approaches assume the designs and development of an API comes before the implementations. Your teams begin by creating an interface for their applications. After the API has been developed, the team will rely on this interface to build the rest of the applications. So once we finalize the specifications of our projects, these are all the endpoints we will going to expose from our projects, and these are all the kinds of a data we will going to expose from our all the endpoints. Just think like that. In case of a success, this is the structure of a data we will going to expose, and in case of a failure, this is the data we will going to expose. So based on this informations, other teams can also work parallelly, because we have first finalized the interface, and after that, just think like that, I am working on some backend kind of applications. So front end side teams and backend side teams, everyone finalize the interface, and after that, backend side team will going to work on that interface, means they will going to implement that interface, and front end side teams can consume that interface for developing their front end side of applications. So it's help to collaborating all the teams together, and it's also reduce the risk of failures. Just think like that, if we don't follow these things, and we if we go in a old way, then in a old way we will going to develop the endpoints. So during developing the endpoints, if developers realize ki now I just need to change the structures of the endpoints, that developers change all the format of the endpoint, so it will going to affect all the teams which is consuming those endpoints. So it's also, if we follow API first developments, it's ensure the good developer experience, and it's also increase the speed of a developments. How it will going to increase the speed of the deployment developments. So we will have so many tools. With the help of those tools, we can generate the code with the help by using our API specifications. So in later we will going to discuss. With the help of OpenAPI specification, this is how we can define our specification. We just need to create a api.yml files, and name can be anything, and this is the formats OpenAPI provided. By following the specifications, we can define the interface for our applications, and we can distribute this informations with all the teams, and they can work parallelly. These are all the possible scenario we will going to throw from our endpoint. This is the type of a data we will going to send in case of a success, and this is type of a data we will going to send in case of a failures. And it's also very helpful for the non-technical persons. They can visualize by using a Swagger UI editors. They just need to copy this our specifications files, and they can export in a Swagger UI editors. They can visualize each and everything, and even they can interact. And by using this open API specifications, even of backend front end side of our teams can start a mock servers, and they can easily use this all the informations for generating a front end side of our applications. And also this is very helpful even for creating a postman collection. They can use this specification files, and postman will going to automatically create all the endpoints which is defined in this specification. OpenAPI provides many generators. By using these generators, we can generate the code. If we follow API first development, first we need to write the specification file. By using this specification file, we can write some build task. That build task will going to generate by using this specification file. And also we can use this specification file for registering all the endpoints on API gateway. As you can see here, this is how we will going to integrate OpenAPI generator in our code base. So we will going to override OpenAPI generate task, and when we run this OpenAPI generate task, this is the all the data it will going to generate by using OpenAPI specifications. And later point of a time, we will going to include this generated code in our code base, and we will going to build our applications. I hope API driven development is now clear for you. If it is not clear, no need to be worried. When we work on these applications, everything will going to be clear. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will going to create Spring Boot applications. For creating Spring Boot application, we will going to use Spring Initializer. So you just need to open this URL. So once this web page is open, so inside the projects, just select a Gradle, because we will going to use Gradle as the build tool. So inside the language, you need to select the Kotlin. We will going to use the Kotlin, and if you are completely new for the Kotlin, and no need to be worried. So if you are familiar with Java, then it will be okay. Yeah. And for the version inside the Spring Boot, just select 2.6.6, and maybe depending when you are watching this video, you can select your latest versions, whatever it is available at that time. Yeah. So inside the group, we will going to use com.udemy. Yeah. And name of this artifact will going to be open hyphen api hyphen demo. Yeah. And inside the packaging, just select jar. So for language, you need to select 17. Yeah. So inside the dependency, just click on the dependency. First we will going to add the web. We need Spring Web. Yeah. And after that, you need to select the h2 in memory database, because we will going to use the h2 in memory database. Yeah. So once you select these two dependency, for now these two is sufficient for us, and after that you just need to click on the generate buttons. It will going to generate Spring applications. So once it's downloaded, after that you just need to open this Spring application. Just unzip and open this application in your favorite ID. For this lectures, I am going to use the IntelliJ. Yeah. This is for this lecture, so let's meet in next lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So once you open the application in IntelliJ IDE, it will going to download all the recommended jars, or maybe you can click on Gradles and click on this sync reload all Gradle projects. So it will going to download all the jars, and it will going to sync the projects. Yeah. So once the projects will going to be a sync, after that this is how it will going to look like. Yeah. So after that you can do one thing, just click on this run button. So let's see it will going to run or not. Yeah. So here, as you can see, this is the errors you will going to encounter if in case if you don't have a required JRE installs on your machines. Yeah. If you are facing any errors during a sync, then please make sure you have a latest version of the IntelliJ. Yeah. Because inside the Gradle, let me show you. Yeah. Inside the Gradle, inside the wrappers, if you see inside the properties, so this is pointing to the latest Gradle 7.4.1. Yeah. So for this you can do one thing. If you are using the latest, if you have selected the latest Java 17s or maybe 18s, please make sure you have the latest IntelliJ ID. And after that, please make sure you have installs latest JDK. So we can do one thing. So let's click on IntelliJ icon. So let's go to inside the preferences. The same things you can follow on window if you are working on the window. So once you open the preferences, so inside the build, so let's click on this build executions deployment. So inside the build tool, select this, and here if you know that we are using Gradle, so inside the Gradle, just click on this. So once you click on this Gradle, so here Gradle's JVM, yeah, just click here and just click on the download JDK. Or maybe you can do one thing, you can download manually by the by just installing or maybe you can follow IntelliJ way. Yeah. So here just select, it will going to give the latest version. So as recommended. So here we need the 18s. Yeah, so after that we can click on the download. So it will going to take some time to download the latest JDK 18s. So let's wait for this. Okay, so once you JDK 18s are successfully installed, so let's verify. So go to the again inside the preferences. So inside the preferences, as we know that, so inside the builds, executions and deployment, so select first build tool. Inside the build tools, let's click on the Gradle. So let's verify. So if it is not selected as the 18s, so please make sure you have selected 18s. Yeah, so after that click on apply and click on OK. Yeah, so once you select this, so after that you need to click on the file, and once you click on the file, just select the project structures and just click on the project structures. So inside the project settings, just select the project. So please make sure, so here as you can see, as SDK should equals to 18. So if it is not selected to 18s, please make sure it should selected as the 18s. Yeah, so please select this and click on OK. Yeah, so once you done this, so after that one more things you need to verify. So just click on the plugins. So once you click on the plugin, it will going to open the plugin. So here just type the Kotlin. Yeah, so once you type the Kotlin, so please make sure this is the Kotlin plugins you need to install. So for me it is saying a restart ID. Once you install this Kotlin, so it will going to ask you to restart the ID. So please make sure you have selected this Kotlin. So yeah, so once you select this once you install this plugin, so after that install, just make sure you restart your ID. Yeah, so after that you need to click on start. So hopefully this time it will going to start. And please make sure, as we are working with the Java 17, so please make sure you have a latest version of IntelliJ, because it will going to work on Gradle 7.4.1. So please make sure you have latest IntelliJ, and please make sure you have the JDK 18 installs in your system. And I just show you how you can install from the IntelliJ. If you don't prefer to install from the IntelliJ, you can if you are working on the Mac, you can maybe install with the homebrew. If you are working on a window, you can download latest JDK and installs in a window systems. Please make sure there is only three things. First, make sure you have the latest JDK, and second, please make sure you have the latest version of the IntelliJ ID, and third things, please make sure you have installed the Kotlin plugin. Yeah, so after that when you start the application, so this will going to start. So once you when you if you are seeing this type of logs, then you are okay to move on the next lectures. Yeah, so this is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So once you able to set up the application successfully, then after that let's move to the resources. So inside the statics, we need to create our OpenAPI specifications config files. So inside the resources, I will explain everything one by one. So inside the resources, so inside the statics, let's create open-api dot YAML file. And one more things, the name is up to you. You can choose any name, and I will recommend the name should be very much specific to your application. Just think like that. If you are making some library applications, then it should be like or library hyphen API spec dot YAML file, something like that. Yeah, so this is the YAML file. So here we will going to mention everything related to our all the endpoints which is we going to expose from our application. So we have learned API driven development. So as we know, till now, so we have very clarity about that. So why we need to first declare our interface and before the implementation. So we know that, so with the help of open API, we will going to first create our interface, and once we finalize our interface, after that we will going to implement the implementation of our interface. So here, so first we need to create a open API by YAML file. So inside this by YAML file, we will going to declare. So first we need to declare what version of open API we will going to use. So this is how we can specify open API colon. After that, we need to specify which version we will going to use. So we will going to use 3.1. Yeah. So once we define the open API, and this is the required fields. Yeah, after that, so we have again one more required fields, info. So inside the info is the object type. So info is objects, so it has several properties. So first we need to define title. So this will going to be a title of our our applications. So basically just think like that, just take an example. If our application related to a library management, then we can provide the titles of our all the application key. This is the these are application related to this functionality. So in our case, we will going to write API driven development demo. Yeah. So after that, we need to define the versions. So basically, let's start from 0. This will be the version of our application. So this is the initial. So we will going to with 1.0. Yeah. So after that, we need to define a description. So here we can define we can provide the descriptions of our applications. So here just tutorial for API first development. Yeah. So we are done with the title. So now we can define the servers. Yeah. So server is again a object. So here server has several properties. So first is server is a type of a array. So it will going to accept the object of server objects. So I will explain you later from where you can read more about all these fields. So for now, just think like that. So here we will going to define a base URL with the help of a URL. So base URL in our case like a /API/v1. So we will not going to include v1 here. We will going to provide v1 as the endpoints label. Yeah, I will explain these things later. Yeah. So once we define the base URL for our server has a few more properties. So we will going to explain these properties later. Maybe let's define descriptions also. Base URL. Yeah. So once we define the server, so after that we need to define a tag. So basically tag is nothing. We will going to use the tag to segregate the our endpoint. Just think like that. If we have a set of endpoints which is related to post, then we will going to create a tag one post, and we will going to attach all the endpoints which is related to the post with the post tag. Just think in a similar way, if I have a set of endpoints which is related to the users, we will going to create the tag users, and we will going to attach all the users endpoints to the users tag. Yeah. So tag is it's a array type. So here we need to define first tag. So let's declare name. So we will going to create the tag for the post. We will going to define the post. So here we can define the descriptions. So inside descriptions we can say operations about post. Yeah. So once we define the tag, so after that we have a path. So inside the path we will going to declare all the endpoints which we going to expose from our applications. So till now, this is till now we have just discussed all the general fields like opens API info, and what is the purpose of info, and what is the purpose of a servers, and what is the purpose of the tags. So in next lectures we will going to learn how we can create the endpoints, and how we can provide the all the specification related to the endpoints, like we have a get endpoints, post endpoint, delete endpoints. Yeah, so this is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will see how we can add the endpoints. Yeah. So for adding the endpoints we have a one fields paths. So let's declare the path. So inside the path, first we need to declare the endpoints. So let's declare get endpoints for post retrieving all the posts. So first we need to define the version like a slash b1, and after that we need to define our endpoints name. So in our case it will going to be ports. So if you are wondering, is it necessary to starting from the b1? No, it is not necessary. So instead of appending b1, maybe you will find out some specification like this. So you will find out ki, this is how in some specifications they declare the version v1s inside the servers as a base url, and after that some specifications directly starting from the endpoints, like for the post it's start like a slash posts. But for me, declaring the versions here as the base url is not the good. Just think like that, in case I need to create the version 2 for the same endpoints, then how I will going to add, because I have added the version v as the base part as the part of the base url. Yeah, so I really encourage you, never add versions as a base url as part of the base url. Always start from the b1. Yeah, so here we are saying this will going to version 1 for the post. So now once we declare the endpoint, after that we need to define uh, the verb for this endpoint. So this will going to type of the get endpoints. Yeah, so once we define the type of the get, we need to tag this endpoints. Yeah, this is how we can tag. Inside the tag we need to define which from the which existing tag we want to tag this. So we have only one tag, post. So let's uh, define here post. Yeah, so once we tag our endpoints, after that we need to provide the summary. So with using the summary fields we can provide the summary get all posts. After that we need to define a operation id. So this is the operation id. When we generate the code, Swagger's tools means open api tools will going to use this open api for creating the name of the function. So in our case this will going to like get all posts. Once we define the operation id, after that we need to define the responses. So for defining the responses we have a field responses. So here we need to define what kind of a response this endpoints will throw. Like, so this endpoints can throw http status 2000. When we throw the http status 2000, it means what type of data we will going to send. In that case, if this endpoints can throw the 500 server not available, something like that, and what type of data in that case we will going to send. So all these things we need to define inside the responses. So let's start with the http method 200 means successful. So this is how we need to define the http 200 methods. So here we need to define the descriptions, uh, successful operations, and get all post data. Yeah, so once we define the descriptions, after that we need to define the content. So content basically means what type of a formats we will going to use. Like, we can send the data in a json formats, we can send the data in xml formats. So we will going to use the json. So this is how you can define jason's formats. So basically here we are saying The content type will going to be application slash JSONs, and after that we need to define the schema. Basically, when we send 200 HTTP status, what type of a data users will going to be expect. So here we will going to see we will going to say that it will going to contain a type of a object. Yeah. And once we define the type of objects, we will need to define the properties. So inside the objects, it will going to contain only one properties, post. So this is how we can define the post. Yeah, once we define the post, again we need to define the type of this properties. So this properties will going to be array. Once we define the array, after that we need to define the type of what type of array is it. So in our case, it's a type of array of post type. So we need to define like this: items. Inside the items, we need to define all the properties of this post object. So first it will going to contain id. Yeah. When we define the id, when we okay, this is not how we define. Yeah, it is a object. So yeah, when we define the id, so inside the id we need to define the type of the id. So with the help of the type, we can define the id type. So it will going to type of the strings, and inside the format we can define it will going to be a uuid. Yeah. So OpenAPI does not provide any type like a uuid. When we want to define as a uid, first we need to define as the type of a string. Inside the format, we will going to declare as the uid. Yeah. Once we define the id, after that we can define it will going to contain the title. So inside the title, let's define a type, and it will going to type of the strings, and format also will going to be the string. So in this scenario, if you see type and formats are both equals to the string, then we don't need to define the format. Yeah. Once we define the titles, after that we can define the description. This is how we can define. Again, it will going to be the type of the strings. And once we define the uh, titles, descriptions, and after that we can define the author name. Okay, author name, again it will going to be the type of the strings. Yeah. So for now we will going to use these four properties for defining the posts, and this is how we have declared the post. So in this lectures we have learned how we can create the endpoints, and we have learned how to create the get type of endpoints and how to attach that endpoints to the existing tag. We have learned how to provide the operation name, means what kind of what will be the name of the functions when we generate this when we generate the code using this open API specification. And here we have defined name of the our functions, and we have defined what kind of operations this can send. So here we have defined it will going to send 200, and this will be the format we have declared. Yeah. So one thing maybe you are wondering. So here if you see, we have defined post data here. Just think like that. When we create the get by post id, in that case we need to declare the same things. So this kinds of things, if we see for declaring the post, it will going to be we will going to use this in a multiple places when we declare the multiple endpoints. So in next lecture we will see how we can reuse these things. So I hope this clear for you. And we have so far we have seen how to create the get endpoints, and how to return 200 http status, and how to define the data. Yeah, this is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will see how we can reuse this piece of declaration. So in previous lectures we have defined our post structure. So our post will going to contain id, titles, descriptions, and author name. So when we declare the endpoint for our retrieving the one post via post id, at that time we need the same kind of a declaration, same kinds of a declaration for the post. So in this lectures we will see how we can reuse things. So we have one more fields components. So let's define that. Yeah. So inside the components, we will going to declare all the schema. So let's define the schema field. So inside the schema, let's declare one post and post object. So our post objects will going our post will going to the type of objects. Yeah. And we know that when we define the type of object, so for defining all the fields we have properties. So inside the properties we can define all the properties of the object which is type of which, uh, for the objects. Yeah. So inside the properties we already defined these are the properties our post will going to contain. So let's cut these things and we can define here. Yeah. So if let me fix this thing. Yeah. So here we have defined our components. So inside components we have a one post object type. So how we can reuse this thing? So here instead of defining the properties, we have a one more properties like ref. So here we can define the path of our this post instead of declaring all the properties here. So how we can point this ref to this post? This is how slash we can define like components. Yeah. So this is how we can define the post. So if we click on this, so this will going to redirect here. So this is how we can link these things. So here as you see these things, now we are saying we will going to return 200. In that case we will going to return array of this post. And here we have declared this post objects with all the fields, and now whenever we want to use post, this is how we can refer this post. So I hope this makes sense to you. So this is the way we can this is the way open API specification provide for using the our models things. Yeah. So this is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will create HTTP code, HTTP status for the 500 in case of any internal server error or something has happened. So in that case we will going to throw an 500. So let's provide a description. So here we can provide like internal server error. So when we going through HTTP status 500, in that case content type again going to be the same, because we will going to use the throughout we will going to use the, JSON as format of the data throughout this application. So inside the schema, so let's define a ref. So in previous lectures we have already learned how we can create the schema inside by using the components, so that we can use the same schema throughout all the endpoints. So let's declare the schema for some journal errors. So here we can define journal error. Yeah. And again this will going to type of objects, and we need to define the property. So inside the property first it will going to contain a code, and again it will going to the type of the integer. Yeah. And inside the format we need to define we need to define the format of the integer. So we will going to use the int 32. Yeah. And this will going to contain a message for containing a region for the error, and it will going to type of the strings. Yeah. So we have created a journal errors. So we will going to use this journal errors whenever we will going to throw a 500 from our applications. So this is how we can use. Yeah. So this is how we can create the 500. So here we have created the specification for our this endpoints only for the get verb. So these are the specifications. So we are clearly saying that this endpoints can return a 200 and 500. When we going to return a 200, this will be going to the format of our data, and when we return the 500, this will going to be the format of the data. So we have clearly defined all the specification related to this endpoint. So in futures we will see how we going to provide the implementation for all these specifications. Yeah, so in next lectures we will going to learn how we can create get endpoints for the get post by id. I hope it's clear for you. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will see how we can create the endpoints. That endpoints require path variables. Yeah. So for we will going to create for this scenario we will going to create get post via id. Before that, one refactoring we need to do. Actually, this general error is not a good name, so just we can choose a generic error, or maybe a simple error is also fine. So let's remove this thing. Yeah. So let's start with that things. So now let's create another endpoints v1 slash post slash, and this will going to receive a post id. Yeah, and here again this will going to type get, and we need to tag this as we know that, so it's belongs to the post. So let's tag this to from post to post, and let's define a summary very quickly. Get post by post id operation. This will going to the name of our functions, get post by id. Yeah, after that we need to define parameters. So here if you notice, so this is how we have defined path variable. So we need to define what kind of data this will going to be, like it will going to be integers, uid, or some kind of a string. Yeah, and also we need to define key from where this data will going to be filled. So we can declare parameters. Inside the parameter we need to define the name. So in our case this will going to link to this post id. So once we define the post id, after that we need to define another fields in. So with here we need to tell where this will going to be present. So here if we pass the path, it means this post id is a path variable. So a model vendor will going to fill this post id by looking in the path, by looking in the url. Yeah, so let's provide the descriptions. So here we can pass post id of post that needs to be fetched. Yeah, and after that we need to define this will going to be the required. If it is not present, then it should throw an exceptions. Yeah, and inside the schema we need to define the type of this post id. So this will going to be the strings, and inside the format we need to define uuid. Yeah, so after that, so we have successfully defined the path variables. So I hope it's very clear for you, and it is also very straightforward. This is how we define the path variables with the help of parameters. So please notice this is very important. So when we pass the value of the in fields is a path, it means this post id is a path variable. So inside the responses we can define it can return 200. So inside 200 let's define the description, successful operation. Yeah, so when this will return 200, so it will going to return the content type is application slash json, and here we can define the schema, and it will going to link to this ref. uh, yeah. slash, yeah, sometimes it's not give as a suggestion. Yeah, so now we have linked this to our post. So in case of successful, we will going to return post. And one more things, in case of 404, just think like that, if that post id is invalid and it is not available in our database, then in case we need to return a 404 not found. So descriptions not found. In case post id is not valid, yeah, and again it will going to return content type application slash json. So in this scenario the reference will going to be error. Yeah, so we have defined 200 404, and in a similar way we need to define 500 also in case of any server error, internal server error. And after that content type will going to be same application slash json. Yeah, schema will going to be the same. Let me copy this very quickly and paste it here. Yeah, so we have declare a one endpoints. So I hope it's very clear for you. So this is how we declare the endpoints which accept which contain a path variable. So in our case this post id is a path variable, so this is how we are filling the we are filling the post id from the path variables. And here if you notice we have mentioned everything related to post id. Post id type will going to be a strings with format uid, and it is a very required things. Yeah, and these are the response our endpoints can throw. In case of errors, internal error, it will going to throw 500. If post id is not present in our database, we will going to throw 404. In success scenario, we will going to return the post id. Yeah, I hope it's clear for you. So this is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will see how to create a post endpoint. So in previous lectures we have learned how we can link a path variable. So let's start with post endpoints. So we will going to create a post endpoint for creation of the new posts. So let's start with this. So we know that at this urls we will going to allow a get endpoints, and on the same on the same urls a user can create a new post if http verb is a post type. So let's define a post. Yeah, so inside the post, as we know that for any operation first we need to link to existing tag. So this will going to link to the post. Yeah, after that we need to define the summary, add new post, and after that we need to define operation id, add post. Once we define the operation id, after that we need to define a request body. So this is the post endpoint. So we need to define the request body. What type of a data we are expecting inside a request body. First thing, request body will going to be type of required. So request body cannot be the null, and content will going to be type of application slash json. Yeah, and here we need to define the schema. So let's define a post request body. So inside the schema let's define add add post request body, and this will going to be type of objects. And for the properties, so we will going to have the properties title, and again it is the type of string. And we will going to have the property description, again it is type of string, and author name, and it is also type of string. So out of these three property, titles and author name will going to be the required type. So here we can define required. Inside the required, first we need title will going to be the required, and second author name will going to be the required. Yeah. So we have created the schema add post request body, which is type of object. So this objects will going to have these three properties. Out of these three property, two properties titles and author name is required. Description is a nullable field. So now inside schema we know that with the help of a ref we can point to the correct yeah, we can point to the request body. So here we have referring to for this request body we will going to receive this type of object. Yeah. And after the request body we need to define the responses. What is the possible http request status this endpoints can return. First is 201. 201 is the http code in case successful creation resource is created. In that case we supposed to return a 201 http status. Yeah. So let's define the description. This will going to be the successful operation. Yeah. So after that we need to define the content. Inside the content again it will going to be application slash json. Inside the schema we need to define the schema. So let's define the schema inside components. So add post response, it will going to be the type of objects, and it will going to contain the only one property user id. And again type of user id will going to be the strings, and format is uuid. And also one more thing, this thing or user id will going to be required. Yeah. So now under the schema we can link to add post response. Yeah. So this is the response. In case of a creation we will going to return only the user id which is newly created, and after that we need to return 400. In case of a bad request we will going to return this 4000. So it's a bad request, and again content application slash json. So here we can use our existing uh, error dto. Yeah. And in case of 500 we will going to return same error objects, internal server error. Yeah. So let's type schema and let's link to error. Yeah. So we have successfully created the post endpoint. So here we have learned how we can provide the request body, and request body required type must be the true. Otherwise when we generate the interface when we generate code based by using this open api specifications, request body will going to be a nullable. In our case it should be a required. Yeah. And inside the content type we have defined this is the this type of model our this endpoint will going to be aspect. Yeah, I hope it's clear for you. This is for this lecture. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will going to learn how to create delete endpoints. So here is a small task for you. I really request you to please pause the video and try it yourself. Try to write the delete and put endpoints. So very small hints for you. So we will going to write the delete inside this endpoints here like this, because just I will give you the regions. Just pause the video and think like that, and and please try it yourself. I hope you got success. So if we see, when we want to delete any resource and when we want to update any resource, we need a post ID, a unique identifier for that resource. So if we see this endpoint, so inside the path variables we have a unique identifier for our post. So this is the right place where we can create a delete and put endpoints. So let's start with the delete. As we know that for delete, first we need to tag this will going to tag to the post. After that we need to define a summary, delete post by id. Yeah, so after the summary, let's define the operation, delete post by id. Yeah, and once we define the operation id, we need to define parameters from where we will going to get that post id. So this will going to name post id, and it will going to present inside path path variables. And let's provide the description, the post id of a post that need to be deleted. And after the descriptions we need to tell it is required or not. So in our case it's required. And after that we need to define the schema for this post id. What type of this post id? It is type of string. Yeah, so now, so we have successfully defined the parameters. So now we need to define the responses. So here just think like that, in case of a get successful response, we are returning a 200 status code. So it means okay, successful return. In case of a successful operation, in case of post endpoints, when we have a http method post, in that case we are returning a 201. That the meaning of that status code is a resource is created. So just think, in the delete case what will be the successful status code. Yeah, so in this case you can return a 200, and also you can return a 204. 204 means in that case we will not going to return any content. Basically this will going to tell the current operation has been successfully served by the server. Yeah, so 204. So inside 204, as we know that first we need to define a description. So this will going to be a successful operation. Yeah, we will not going to send any kind of a data here. And after that again 404, in case in case user is in case post id is not valid, in that case we will going to return 404. We can do one thing. Let's copy from here. We will going to send 404 and 500. It will going to be exactly same. Yeah, so I hope it's clear for you. We have created a delete endpoint. So In that case, this is the main thing. Please remember this: 204 you can return, 200 you can return, 202 also you can return. But in our case, 20 is the best fit, because we don't want to return anything from this endpoint. Just we want to tell the client the operation has been successfully completed. Yeah. One more thing, maybe you have noticed, if we see here, this is the parameter exactly uh, we will going exactly these are the parameter we need for the get operations, and these are the parameters we also need for the delete operation, and the same things we also going to use for the put operation, because when we want to update any resources, at that time we will going to use post id as a path, as the unique identifier, and we will going to retrieve this post id from the path variable. So the same things we also we need for put operations. So think like that, there should be some way for using for there should be a way so that we can define this piece of a code in one place, and we can refer the reference in whenever we need. Like we are referring for the errors and users and errors and sorry and for the post model, the similar kind of a things. So that things we will going to see in our next video. I hope it's clear for you. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will see how we can reuse this parameters path variable things. Yeah. So let's copy this. Mm, let's copy till uh, till to name. Yeah. So let's move inside components. So similar way we have declared the schema, in a similar way we can define parameters. So here we need a post id path variable. Yeah. So this will going to be the type. Yeah. So this is the path variables. Name of this path variable is the post id. It will going to present inside the path, and this is the schema. Yeah. So now we can do one thing. So instead of this, just remove this, and we can refer slash like this, and we can also use the same thing here. Just remove this. Yeah. So now when in next lectures we will declare put endpoints. So in that put endpoints we can utilize this post id path variables. So this is the good practice. Actually we need to declare all the reusable things like this, so that in futures if we want to update anything inside the post post id path variables, so we need to change at the one place, and every in other place we are just using the reference, so it will got automatically updated. I hope it's clear for you. So let's meet in next lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will learn how to create a put endpoint. So it will going to very similar to the delete endpoint. So let's start with this. So I really encourage you to please pause the video and write it yourself. I know it's very simple and it's completely clear to you, but believe me, the more you write, the more memory muscles memory will create it. So you will going to remember all the fields and everything. Yeah. So I really encourage you to please pause the video and write it yourself. Yeah. So let's define put endpoints. So as we know that inside the put endpoints, first we need to uh, tag this endpoint. So this will going to relate it to the post. Yeah. And after that we need to define the summary, update post by post id, and operation will going to be update post by id. Yeah, and after that, first things, parameters. So we need post id, and that will we will going to retrieve from the path variables. So let's link to post id path variables. Yeah, and after that we also need a request body. So inside the request body, so we will going to use a similar if we see, let me open yeah. So if we can see here we have a add post request body. So inside this we will going to have a title, description and author names. But in case of update, users are allowed to change only titles and descriptions, not the author name. So let's create a update post request body. Yeah, and this will going to type of object. Yeah, and let's define properties. So inside the properties, let me copy, we will going to have titles and descriptions, and paste it here. Yeah, and out of a title and descriptions, only required field will going to be mm, okay, nothing will going to be required. Is up to the users if wants to update only descriptions, users can update. If user wants to title, users can. And if users wants to update titles and descriptions, users can. Yeah, so let's use this inside the post request body. So inside the request body we need to define content. So it will going to be type of application slash json. Yeah, and here we need to define a schema, and is inside schema we can refer to our newly created model, or you can say that DTO. Yeah, so we have linked a request body and parameters. So now let's declare responses. So just think like that. In case of update, what kind of HTTP status you want to return to the user? So it will going to similar to the delete. In case if you want to return to 00, you can. If you want to return to 202, that will also going to be acceptable. But 204 is good in our case, because we don't want to return any kind of data to the end users, because user already had a post id and this is the mutation. So we are not supposed to return the newly updated objects or something like that, because this is the mutations, and these things will going to have some side effects. For verifying the side effect, you just should issue the respective any query, maybe a get by post id or something like that, for verifying all the operators, all the whatever the side effects he has applied, it's got reflected or not. So inside 2 not 4, we just in case of successful, we just going to return 204. It means request successfully proceed. uh, it's successful operation. Yeah, and let me copy from delete, or we will going to return this endpoints can return of 404 and 500 also. Yeah, so let me paste it here. Yeah, and one more thing, just think like that. It can return 204 in a successful scenario, it can return 404 in case post id is not exist. Yes, it can return 500 in case our server is down, and because of some network issue or something bad happens, maybe a user is not able to reflect if our applications crashed, any because of any reasons, we will going to return a 500 as a internal server error. And one more thing, it can also return a 400 bad request. Yeah, so we can do one thing. Let's copy, not this, let's copy this thing. Yeah, it can return 400 bad request. Yeah, so I hope it's clear for you. So if we see this, so we have created all the essentials endpoints for the related to the post, all the CRUD operations. Yeah, so I hope it's clear for you and you are enjoying lectures for writing these things. So please please have a patience. We are just creating a specification till now, and in upcoming lectures we will going to create by using this specification some contracts, and also we will going to use delegate patterns. So at that time you will find out how this good using this open API specifications, or maybe you can say that API first driven development, you will find out all the benefits. Just have patience and please keep watching the videos. Yeah, thank you. Hello everyone. So in previous lectures, if you remember, we have updated we have added put endpoints. So for the for the request body, we have forgot one fields required. Yeah, it should be true. In case a body is null, then it should throw in as absence. Yeah. So just please make sure you have added the required fields also. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will see how we will learn how to generate a Swagger UI. So by using our OpenAPI YML specification. So let's start with this. So first we need to add a few dependency. So let's implementations, and first dependency we will going to use org dot spring doc and we will going to use open API hyphen Kotlin. This dependency will going to provide the Kotlin jar file for open API, and we will going to use the version 1.6.6. And let's copy this thing. Yeah, paste it here and replace Kotlin with a UI, and this is the dependency for related to a Swagger's UI. And once you add these two dependency, after that you just need to click on this icons and it will going to download all the newly added dependencies jar. And if in case that icon is not available for you, then you can do click on the Gradles and you can click on this icon for reloading all Gradle projects. Yeah, so once the dependency successfully added, after that you need to open this applications.properties files. So inside application.properties files, first we need to mark off default API doc. We will going to be manually we will create required beans, and second we need to link our API specifications URLs. So for that URLs, and here, yeah, sorry, instead of open API, this should be Swagger UI, Swagger UI dot URL. Yeah. So here we need to provide our OpenAPI specification path, and please make sure this specification should inside the statics. So let's write here open hyphen APIs dot YML. Yeah, and after that let's create a new package. Okay, you can do one thing, just right click on this, select new and click on the package and type this as config. Inside the config, we will create a Kotlin class, and it should be a Swagger config. So inside this class, we will create a bean for doc configurations and doc configuration properties. So let's do that. First, mark this config file as a configuration, which is this annotation coming from a Spring frameworks. Let's write Spring doc configurations. This functions will going to return a Spring doc configuration instance. Let's return this. Yeah, we will not going to write any we will not going to overwrite any configuration. We will going to use the defaults one. That will be fine for our case. Spring doc config properties, and this functions will going to return spring doc on properties instance. Let's return. Yeah, and mark this class also with a bean annotation. Okay, it should be a doc. Yeah. So once you add these two dependencies inside a Swagger config, and please make sure you have annotated with the configurations annotations. So after that, start your applications. So let's wait. It will going to take some time. It is first built, then after that it will start. Yeah. So application has been started. So once the application is started, and after that you need to open browsers and open the URLs a localhost colon 8080 and swaggers hyphen UI index.html. This is the default path which is exposed by Spring Docs Swaggers. Open this URLs. Yeah, so here you can see all the endpoints which we have declared inside open API YMLs files. So here we have declared all the specifications related to our projects, and here we can visualize. So maybe you this is the same things, if you remember in a old way, how we used to integrate a Swagger UI. First we implement our implementations, like first we declare controllers and everything, and after that we annotate controllers with Spring Swagger's annotations. Based on that annotations, we used to generate a Swagger's UI. So if we see in this is the wrong way actually, because when we developed any applications, first we expose the contracts. So this is our contracts. So if you see this, first we declare our contract ki, hey, this is what we will going to deploy it, and this is our contract. So we have exposed. So any teams which is working parallelly and they wants to use our endpoint, so now just see this while looking this, and we just need to share this config files, and they will get to know that each and everything related to our application. So if you see this, everyone will have a clear idea what endpoints we will going to expose, and this endpoints what type of a data this endpoints will going to returns. And here here's any client which is going to use our applications, they can visualize each and everything. Even they can visualize all the errors we will going to throw from our application. So here if you see, in case of a successful, it will going to return 201 with this data. In case of a bad request, this is what we will going to return. So it's very clear. One more things, if you wish to write the code, so in case of a bad request, code value will going to be 400. In case of internal error, code value will going to be 500. If you want to create this samples data, in futures we will learn how we will going to add the samples data also in our specifications. So I hope it's clear for you. So if you see here, each and everything whatever we have declared inside our application in our specifications. Here we can visualize each and everything. So maybe you find out this useful. So in futures, uh, even Swagger is not up to only these things. So in futures we will going to explore Swagger generation by we will going to generate some contract also by using this. And let's and after that that contracts will going to enforce to implement all the things which we have declared here. So I hope you found out these things are interesting. So let's meet in next lectures. In that lectures we will going to explore open API generators. I hope you enjoy these lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will learn how to add a open API generator. So we will going to use the open API generator for generating contract based on our open by YAML specifications. So let's add a plugin. So we need to add a OpenAPI generator plugin. So org.openapi.generators, and we will going to use the version 5 5 dot 5.3.1. Yeah. Once we add this open API generator as a plugin, so after that we need to refresh our dependency. In this case, if this icon is not appear for you, I suggest you to open a Gradles and click on this reload all Gradle task. So once you add this open API generator, so basically how it will going to what this plugin will going to provide us. So when we add this open API generator, so it will going to provide a few Gradle tasks. So for checking all the tasks, you need to click on the Gradles, and after that click on the task, and after that you will going to see one folder open API tools. So you need to open this folders, just click on this, and here as you can see these are tasks which is provided by open API generator plugin. So in next lectures we will going to learn how to override the config. So here if you see, this is the open API generator. So whenever we call this Gradle task, so basically what this task will going to do, it will going to read our open API specification files, and it will going to generate a few boilerplate code using this file. So before using this open API generators, we need to provide we need to override a few properties. So let's do that also. Yeah. So here let's add a open API generators. Sorry, it's not generator, it's will going to open API generate. Once we add this open API generate task, so in this task first properties we need to override generator name. So so basically if we see OpenAPI generators has many generators of when we want to generate codes in a TypeScript, we have a different generators. When we generate code for the Kotlin, we have different generators. And specifically if you see, we are using Spring, so we want to generate Kotlin code with the Spring annotations. So here we need to provide a generator's name for generating Spring's annotations with a Kotlin. So generator name is Kotlin hyphen Spring. So in case if you want to see all the generators which is available inside open API generators, you need to open just Google this and go to the website open API generators, where where you will find all the list of all the available generators. Yeah. So once we provide generators, after that we need to provide input specs. So with the help of input specs, we will going to provide where our specification file is present. So in our case it is present src slash main slash resources. Inside the resources we have a static folder. So inside this static folders we have a file with the name open hyphen api dot yaml. Yeah. So this is how we will going to link our OpenAPI specifications file with the generator. So once we provide the generator, after that we need to provide a output directory where we want to put our all generated code. So let's do that. So we will going to put our all generated code inside the build directory. Inside the build directory we will going to create a one folder generated. So generator will going to use this file for generating the code, and once the code is generated, a generator will going to place inside this folder inside the build directory. And for generating the which type of a code, generator will going to use this Kotlin Spring. Yeah. After that we need to provide a config file config.set. Yeah. So it will go this file is currently not available inside our directory, but we will going to add very shortly. Yeah. So we will going to add this file src main and resources. Inside resources we will add a one file with the name api hyphen config.json file. So its name is totally up to us. Whatever you want to choose you can name. And inside resources let's create that files. This is the file name we will going to create. And for now just leave this as a blank. First let's complete this, after that we will going to write the code here. Yeah. So once we provided the config file, so basically if you are wondering what we will going to write inside the api config, so just wait for that. When we write the api config, at that time we will discuss everything. So after that we need to define api package. So api package dot set. So inside the api package we need to define a package name what we want to do. uh, uh, package name uh, Package name for the generated code. So we will going to use com dot udemy dot open api demo dot apis. So basically we will going to use our base package name, and after that we are just appending a api. So if you see, this is very much specific to api packages. So api packages, what does it means? So when generator will generate the interfaces for all these apis, means just think like that a controllers just think like that controller interfaces. So it will going to place all the generated interfaces for these endpoints. So it will going to inside this package. So after that, if you already know that we have a some model also inside our components. So for specifying the package for our models, so we have another fields model package dot set. Here we can set the package name for our models. So for our models we will going to use the package open api demo dot models. So inside this package we will going to place our all the models. So I hope it's clear for you. This is the package name for our api, and this is the package name for our model. So when we run this command, so the generator will going to use all this information for generating spring boot kotlin code. So let's create this file. Okay, we already created these files. So in these files basically we need to provide some config. So first config we will going to provide a source folder. So when the code is generated, after that our our source folders will going to be src slash main slash kotlin, similar what we have currently. If you see src main slash kotlin, yeah. After that we need one more property, api suffix. So we will going to have this empty. We don't want to any suffix before our apis. And after that we had another property, use tags. This will going to be true, yeah. And after that when we generate the code, so we don't want any kind of handlers, exceptional handlers. So we will going to off this properties also. And we will discuss, we will make this true later point of a time, and we will see what kind of a code these things generate. So one more properties, swagger annotations. We don't want any kind of a annotation when our code is generated. If we wish, we can do that one thing also. We can make these properties true. It will going to annotate every controllers, every endpoints, and also our models fields with all the informations which we have wrote here. So we don't need any kind of annotations. So make this false also. By default these properties is true, that's why we are overwriting, yeah. So once we add these properties, so after that we just need to do one thing only. Let's open terminal. Let's do one thing, open build.gradle file. So inside build.gradle files we have commands, OpenAPI generate. So we need to run this command. So for running this commands we can do one thing, gradle w. After that we need to write the name of our commands, OpenAPI generate. So once we run this command, so hopefully it will going to be successful, yeah. So once we run this command, so basically what this commands will going to do, so this commands will going to generate Spring Kotlin projects. So by using this OpenAPI specifications, and we have declared key inside the build, let's create a generated folders. So let's open this. So inside the build, so we have a generated folders. So open this generated folder. So inside this generated folder abc we have a src, inside main kotlins, inside kotlins we have the same com.udemy.openapi demo. So here we have declared. So inside the api package we will going to have api our API. All if you see here, so we have API util. So inside post controllers ABC, so this is the post rest controller. So inside this controllers we have a add post, and we have a delete post by IDs, and get all post, everything's related to our specifications. So these are all created by reading our OpenAPI specifications, whatever we have declared. So it will going to reflect here. So if you see, so these if you see, so this is the post we have declared slash v1 slash post. So by using this information, so name this controller is got created. So if we see inside the models, so these are the models. So first is the add post request body. So inside add post request body, this is what we have added: titles, author's name, and descriptions. And if you notice one thing, titles and description, titles and author name was mandatory, so it's got added also by OpenAPI generator. So if we see a corresponding endpoints also for this add post, so here if you see, so it is also going to validate it, because we have added some validations. So it will going to also validate it, and this is our class post controllers which will also annotated with a validated annotation. So I hope it's clear for you. If you see everything whatever we have declares, it's going to reflected here. Only one things, if you see these things, inline response 200, it's actually not looking good. So this file should have any name. So if you see, maybe this file should have a name like post response, yeah, post sorry, get post response, something like that. So if we see in open API specification, so when we declare this slash b1 slash post endpoints with the get endpoint, so if you notice here, so this is what so this is what we have created one objects, but we have not specific this is objects without any name. It's, so that was the regions. This name of this object is coming like this in inline response 200, just by using the http status. We can do one thing. Let's cut this from here. So we know that inside components we are maintaining all the all our models. So inside components we have a schema. So here we can do one thing. So let's name this like a get post response. So inside here let's paste it. So if we see, let me correct, yeah. So now we have provided a name get post response to this object. So now let's copy these names and let's move to our endpoints. Yeah. So from here, so we have a ref property. So let's use that ref properties. So using this ref properties, we will going to you link to get post response endpoints. So now let's do that one thing. So let's create again. Before that, let's delete this generated folders. Yeah. So now let's run our command again and let's see. Yeah, so it is successful. Once it's successfully run, after that refresh this build folder. So generated will going to be appear. So inside the generated, let's move. Okay, let's me close this. Yeah, so inside generator, so let's move again. So inside the models, if we see, so now it's that inline response is no more here. So it's like a get post response. So I hope it's clear for you, and I am hoping you are enjoying this thing. So actually, if you see, this is very interesting. So here we have declare our contract. So basically, when we develop any application, so first what we decide. So as a team, we always decide the contracts. So maybe just think like that. Some one team in developing the backend work, and some other team developing front ends work. So front ends guys need a contract. So as a team, so first we can decide the contracts and both the team can work parallelly. Yeah. So this is the one basic things we have seen. So in next lectures we will going to explore more on interface only types, and after that we will see delegation patterns also. So this is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will learn about interface only methods. So first, let's open a build. So inside a build, let's open a Gradles. So open src. Yeah. So if you see inside API, we have a post controller. So if you see, this is the type of class actually. So there is a no way we can use this post controllers, and we can write a functionality for our functions like a add post and delete post by IDs and get all post, all these functions. So basically these are all the functions getting generated by using open API specifications files, where we have declared everything. But this is not we want. Actually we want some kinds of an interface, so that we can implement that interface, and after that we can write the implementation of all these functions, exactly what we want to returns, what we want to do whenever this endpoints will invoked with this data. So here if you see, this is actually created when we have not when we don't provide any kinds of config here. So this is not useful. So we will going to first learn about interface. So how we can generate the interface. So you need to open API config file. So inside the API config file, so we need to add one more properties, interface only, and this is a boolean properties, and this need to be true. So when we mark this interface only true, so now when we generate the when we generate the codes by using open API's commands, Gradle commands, which we have declared here. So now this time it will going to create an interface. So we can do one thing. So inside a Gradle, let's open first run clean build. Once our clean build be successful, after that we wants to run open API generate commands. So let's run this. Yeah, so it is successfully completed. So now let's do that one thing. So refresh this API again. So now if you notice, so now we don't have a controller, so now it is generating a interface, a post interface. So now if you see, so this is useful for our scenario, because this is the interface. Exactly this is what we want. So this interface we already declare inside our OpenAPI specification, this specification. So by using this specifications, OpenAPI generators created this interface. So now we can do one thing. We can create a controllers inside our code base, and we can implement this interface, and we can easily provide the implementation for all the functions. Exactly what whenever these endpoints will invoke, we what we want to we can do that these things. So this is the first way OpenAPI provide. It is an interface way, and there is a one more way from this that way is known as that pattern is known as the delegation pattern. So first we will learn about these things more. So in next lectures we will going to see how we can implement this interface in our code base. If you notice one more things here, this is codes present inside the build, and we want to use some codes which is reside inside the build in our code base. So we will see how we can include these generated code inside our code base, so that we can implement generated interface. One more things, if you notice, whenever we run test cases, whenever we run build, so what we want to do first things, always we want to make sure this commands is executed first whenever we compiles our Kotlin compiles, and whenever we run build test cases, everything, because we will going to use this generated code in our code base. So we can do one thing. So inside here Kotlin compiler, we can add depends on its receive string. So inside the string we can pass this command OpenAPI generate. So basically what we are saying here, whenever we run whenever our compiles, please run this OpenAPI also as part of compiles. So now we can do one thing. Let me clean this. It's weird. So now we can do one thing. Gradle, if we run a command, sorry, Gradle w clean build. So when we run this command, so now if you notice, OpenAPI will going to invoke first, and after that our command will our build will be going to execute it. So please make sure you have added this OpenAPI generated as a part of your compiles, because we don't want to run these commands manually every time. We just want, whenever we run our integration test cases and builds, this command should run first. So in this lectures we have seen how we can generate the interface, and we have seen how we can automate this OpenAPI generate commands. So in next lectures we will learn how we will going to add this generated code inside our code base. So this is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will see how we can add a generated code in our code base. So let's open build.gradle file. So basically we need to register generated code to our code set containers. So we can register by using a configure. Let's configure to source set container. So this is the our source set container. So we can register our code, generated codes. So let's use named. Here we need to write main, and after that we need to register java.source directory. So here we can first we need to point out to will directory by using this $will directory. So this will going to replace at the runtimes build uh, paths. After that, inside the build we know that inside the generated folders, whatever we have inside src slash main slash Kotlin. So whatever we have inside the Kotlin, we need to import in our code base. So we need to register this as a source directory. And after that, one more things, if you notice, let me show you. Let's open build. Inside the build, let's open src. Yeah, this is fine. So if you see this generated code, so it is not generating any application starting files. So if someone using a lower version, so in that case it can generate the that service files also. So basically what I am saying, so if you see this open api demo applications kt, so this is the server file, so where we are bootstrapping our Spring Boot application. So sometimes if we in this versions they have omitted these things. So, but in older versions you may notice these files will going to be generated also. So for that case you can do the name of that files will always going to be like some applications.kt. So for that you can do like something java.src, not src, java.exclude. So in our case we don't have, so we don't need to add this line, but maybe it will good to know if you got a chance to work on the older version, so at that time this will be helpful. So java.exclude, so inside the exclude we can pass the name of that files. So star star slash applications.kt. So this is the name of that files, which files we don't want to add in our code base. So usually that's starting files generated with this applications.kt names in our old versions. So but in our case we don't need these things, but it's this is the way we can exclude that files, because we have already our bootstrap servers starting applications file here. So we can do one thing, so let's comment this out, but it's good to know that. I hope it's clear for you why we have why we need exclude. So in our case I am explaining one more time. So in our case we don't have any startup files, so it is not getting created. But in previous versions you may encounters in previous versions that application.kt files also got generated, and this is the files act as the startup files. So in one when we include the complete source from this generated folders in our code base, so at that time we will going to have a two startup files, but we need a one startup file. So that was the reasons we need to exclude this, and we will going with our startup files. So we don't need this generated startup file. So that was the reasons we need to exclude this. So in our case it is not got created, because maybe they have updated the latest OpenAPI generators, but it's good to know that. So once you add these source container. So after that you need to click on the gradles and you need to click on the refresh. So it will going to refresh and rebuilds the project so that it will include the generated files in our code base. So let's wait for to build to complete. Yeah. Or maybe if you are see any icons here, you can also click on that for refreshing. So after that, inside OpenAPI demos, let's click right clicks and click on a new. We need to create a package and name this as a controllers. So inside the controllers, let's create a Kotlin class file. So name this as a post controller. So now here we can verify by implementing this post, is it accessible also not. So here as you can see we have a two posts, one is coming from a API, second is a model. So we need a API once because inside the APIs we are placing our all the contracts. So let's implement this interface. So after that you need to click on commands N for this pop-up will come up. So after that click on the implement methods. So inside, okay, we need to click on the override methods. So inside the override methods, as you can see we have everything which we defines inside our open API specifications. So let's include everything and click OK, and this will going to add all the functions which we need. So inside post we have created the contracts, and now inside the post controllers, this is our IMPLs. Here we can implement the behavior for all the functions what we want to do. So I hope you like this. So in next lectures we will going to write some dummy functionality, and we will test it is working end to end or not. So this is for this lectures. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will implement some dummy implementation for all the functions. So in next lectures we will test from the Postman's or maybe from our Swagger's API. So let's provide us some dummy implementation. So before that, for database we will going to create one functions. So let's create privates well and we need mutable list of post, and this time this post will come from models. Yeah. So after that, inside add post, so let's remove these things. So inside the add post we just need a simple functionality. So yeah, so here post dot whatever we will going to receive. So here we will going to create a post instance. Again it will come from first we need ID. So we will going to generate some random ID, and after that we need titles, and that titles we will going to extract from add post request body dot titles, and after that we need a description, and that descriptions we will going to extract from descriptions, and after that we need a author name. Yeah. Yeah, once we prepare once we successfully added a post, so after that we just need to return a response. So here, so let me open this what we are returning. So we are just returning a user ID. It should be a post ID, I think. So let me open open API specification. So inside the post, this is the post. So let's open this add post response. Okay, so this should be a post ID and also mark this as a required. So we have updated our OpenAPI specification. We just need to run a Gradle syncs, and that will going to generate everything again. Yeah. So now if I open this thing, so here, okay, it seems it's not got updated. Let's do one thing. Let's run a Gradle w clean build. Yeah. So it's got generated. So now we have a post ID. So one more thing. Uh, so now inside a post we have a post ID. One more thing. If you have noticed this thing, so here we have our interface names and our DTOs names. Both are same as the post. So if you want to rename our DTO, so let me open inside the schema. We have a post. Yeah. So if you want to rename this DTO like a post DTO or something like that, that will be more helpful. So let's me do that like a post DTO, so that we don't need to import like this full with the full names. So meanwhile I am going to rename this as DTO. And one more thing, this, let me check. We need to update everywhere where we are using, so we need to update here also. Yeah. So we have updated everywhere. So after that, let's run the same command again. Just don't worry about the build is failing because of these things, but our so this time this should be a post DTO. Yeah. So here we need a post DTO. Let's remove these things. Yeah. So now it's good. So we have created our post. So we just need this UID. So we need to extract this UID. So let's assign this UID in a well post ID, and this is the post ID we will going to send. And let's assign this post ID here. And after that we just need to return this post ID with the response entity. We just need to return this post ID, and after that we need to return HTTP status. Okay. Okay, this should be add post response, and here we need to pass post ID. Yeah. So we have updated these things. One more things, also we also need to annotate this controller with REST controllers. And here one more things, if you notice these things, we are extracting titles, descriptions and authors from a add post request body. So if we go inside add post request, so this is the sequence. First we will going to have a titles, authors and descriptions. So and there is a way for destructurings. So we can do destructurings add post request. And here first it will going to provide titles, and after that we will have a author name, and after that we have a description. Yeah. So here we can use this titles, and yeah, now we can remove these things. So now it's looking more elegant before code. Yeah, so we have added add post successfully. So let's update get all posts also. So inside get all post, we just need to return a response entity. Response entity inside, we will going to return a get post responses. So inside get post response, we will have a one property post, and this properties will going to be our mutable list. Oh, sorry, here we can return our post. Yeah. Let me open this. So inside here we are returning a post DTO. Yeah. Okay, so after that HTTP. Okay. Yeah. So we have for now we have integrated add post, and also we have updated our get post. So let's verify these two working as expected or not. So before that we need to update everything here. Yeah, so this will going to be a post TTO. Yeah, great. So now let's run our application, and please make sure you have annotated this class with the REST controller. So it's a REST controller, and REST annotation we don't need because everything is we have auto generated by using OpenAPI specification. Everything resides in our post interface. So once you restart application, so after that you need to open browsers. Yeah, and refresh this Swagger endpoints. So here inside the post, so let's open this and click on this tryout and click this execute. So yeah, so this is the response we are getting. For now it's we are getting a post which is a empty list. So we can do one thing. Let's move to post request. So this is the post endpoints where we can create a new post. So click on this again, try it out, and this is here we need to specify our request body. So here we can pass some like test title, some description, author name is Peter. Yeah, so once you specify all the requires data, after that you need to click on execute. Yeah, so request got execute, and this is the response we have got from the post ID. So I just clicked two time, I think. Yeah, so now let's again execute this get post request, and let's see. This time we should got objects inside the post list. So this is the first object, this is the second object. So if you are wondering why we received this two times, so actually by mistake I clicked two time on executes. Yeah, so this is working. So we are just testing from we are just testing with the locals database. So from now onwards, so if you have an idea all the three layer architecture we used to work, so everything will going to be the same. After that we just need to create a service and repo DAO layers, and everything will going to be the same like previously we used to do. The intention of this lectures was just to show you whatever we have defined inside the post, all the endpoints, it is working perfectly fine. And now if you see, that is a very great way of developing the API. So first we have declare all the contracts, and all the teams who are interested in these endpoints, they can work parallelly. Yeah, so now inside add post, let's move to the add post. So inside the add post, so if you remember, titles and author ID was the mandatory field. So if we remove this Peters and if we assign this as a null, and let's execute this again, let's see what we will going to receive. Yeah, so it is throwing error request post response status is 400, and this is the data. status 400 timestamps and error message is the bad request, and this is the path which we are using. So it is perfectly working fine. Yeah, all the validations we have mentions inside uh, author name, all the validation required validations we have added inside our specification. It is working. So let me click on this, executes again. So yeah, it is working. So we are getting a 400 web request status. So if you are interested for getting all the messages and everything, you can do one more things. We can implement controller advice with the AOP, and we intercept all the calls, and where we can prepare the data, and we can also pass all the validation message to the front end also, if we want. So it's not a big task for achieving that things. So I hope it's clear for you and you enjoy this lecture. So in next lectures we will going to update the REST endpoints. This is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will complete the REST functions. So let's start with a delete post by ID. So in this functions we will going to receive a post ID. So first we need to retrieve that post. So let's retrieve that post dot find. We will going to use the find. So inside here, so we need a post ids dot equals, and here it dot id. So we need that post which id is equals to this post id. One questions here for you. So what should be the correct way of matching? So we need to call this equal functions on this post id, or should we call this equal functions on this id? Just think about it, and I'm leaving this these questions for you. Yeah, and now it's redundant, so we can remove this like this. So here we will going to receive the posts. So after that we just need to verify if this id is exist inside this post. We will going to receive the post, and in other case it will going to be null. So we can do one thing, post dot, okay, so we can do one thing, post dot let if this post is exist. So if you see, this is the nullable. So if you see, so if this post is exist, then do one thing. So in here we need to do one thing, posts dot remove, and it's also received the object. So here we need to pass this object. So just remove this post. Yeah. So in case this object is not exist, so in that case we will going to throw an exceptions like throw new, sorry, not new, it's not Java. So here we can throw an exceptions, runtime exceptions, uh, post id is not uh, exist. Yeah. And one more thing, so here once we delete that post, so after that we need to return okay, so once we delete this post, so basically this post will going to after that, once we delete this post, after that we can do one thing. So here we can return our happy path. So like this, return response entity, and here we just need to return http status dot okay. So just think about that. In case when we deleted the post, so I think we are returning let's me open this, let's move to here. And if we see inside delete by post, so here it is not mentioned, so open API specification. So inside this function, let's find out delete. Yeah, so we are returning a 204 successful operation. So here instead of okay, we need to return 204. So 204 is I think accepted. So let's verify. Yeah, no, accepted is 202, 204 is no content. Yeah, we will going to return a 204, no content. Yeah, so this is how actually if you see here we have exposes the interface. We need to match everything whatever we have declares. So this is when other for the other team, this is the only things they can verify our behaviors. Yeah, so we have declare here, and let's move to the next function. If you are wondering what about these things, here we are not throwing any particular like a 404 not found as like a 400 not found exceptions. I think 404, yeah, 404s are not found exceptions. In case that post id is not exist, we need to throw that this exception, sorry, this post id is not exists with that data. So we will going to see these things later, just wait for that. Yeah, and after that we will going to have a get post by id. This will going to be very very simple. So here we need exactly same this code. Let's copy this thing. Okay, so this will going to be like this. In success scenario, we will going to return a response entity. Inside response entity we will going to return posts, and after the post we need to return a http status dot okay. Yeah, so this will be the case for get post by id, and let's update these things. We will do refactor later. Yeah, so let's move to this things. So here if you see we will going to receive a post id, and this is the data we will going to receive. So what we need to do, so here we need to do first, we need to find that post. So this is how we will going to find that post. So once we receive this post, here we can do one thing. Yeah, if this post is not exist, throw this exceptions. Yeah, if this post is exist, after that we can do one thing. Post dot we need to update authors. Author is the updatable editables, and update request body dot I think author is not, yeah, id. So we need to update id, and after that post dot description description. It is giving error, so let's see. Okay, okay, so it is the issue actually. If we see, let me open post dto. So inside the post dto we see these are the wells types. So we cannot change existing things, but what we can do, uh, we need to do one thing. So let's prepare new post dto. Yeah, so we need id, and in our case id will going to be post dot id, and after that we need a title. If you want to destructures, you can do that. Yeah, post dot titles, and this for this titles it will going to come from update request body dot titles, and we need a description. and it will again will come from update request body, and we need author name, so it will going to come from existing post author name. Yeah, so here we have created this post. So now we can do one thing. So here posts dot remove, let's remove this post. And in case this post will successfully removed, so we can do here like this. If this post will successfully removed, so after that we can do one thing. So inside posts dot add, let's add this, and here maybe we can do one thing here. Yeah, let's do this here. If it is failed to update, so here we can throw an exception, throw new runtime exception again, failed to update. Yep. So in case of a successful update, so we will going to return inside. Let's open this OpenAPI specification. Let's open a put call. So inside the push call we can see, okay, we will going to send 404. Yeah, so from here in successful we can send http status no content 404. Yeah, so we have completed update post by id, we have completed get post by id, and yeah, so we have completed everything. So now let's test this thing. Okay, first we need to start our application, so let's start this. And it's easy, matlab we have added everything. So here if you see, so getting these posts from our services and these things we can do in a same way we used to do for the monolithic applications. Yeah, sorry, for the three tier architecture we can do in the same way. Yeah, so let's first add a new post, new title, some description, and Peter name will going to be, sorry, author name will going to be a Peter. So let's execute this. Yeah, so it's successfully created. This is the post id. Okay, so now we can do one thing. So we have tested this, it is working. So let's retrieve all the post, run this. Yeah, so here we got all the post which is available. So let's copy this post id and close this. So let's move to this get post by id. So we will going to you test this, and here we need to pass this post id and execute. So it is saying internal server error. Okay, let me run here also. This will be api slash v1 slash post slash and here post id. Okay, it is throwing an internal server error. So why it is the case? So let's open post by id. Okay, it is saying this post is not exist. Okay, so this is the mistake. Actually, if we see this, we declare this post id as a strings, and here id as a uuid. So there is a one way, or we can convert this in a uid and we can match after that, or maybe we can update our specifications also. So if we go inside getByPostId method, this is the methods. So here if you see, this is the parameters. So let's move to these things. So here we have defined name will be a post id, and this will be the required and type of a string. So here we need to define format also. Format will going to be uid. Yeah. So once we define the format, so after that we need to do one thing. So let's run that command again. Gradle clean build. Yeah. So this time these things will going to be uuid. Yeah. And we need to update these things manually. Yeah. So we have updated this as a uid. So it is saying can be replaced with the equals. Yeah. id dot like this. Yeah. Okay, one more thing here also, uuid. Yeah. So let's open this post. So if you see, all the interface has been updated. This post id is now a uid instead of a string. So that was the reasons we have updated all the functions declaration. So now let's run this application again. Yeah. So now again open Swagger. So let's move to again inside the post calls. So let's again execute this. It's got created. So inside let's execute this again. So this is the id we have got. So let's copy this id and let me collapse everything. Yeah. So now we will going to test this getByPostId functions. So remove this id, now paste this id and click on execute. Yeah. So this times, as you can see, we are getting the uh, uh, that that id we have specified. If you want to test from here also, if that makes clear, you can test like this. Yeah. So previously, actually, we were sending the uid as a string. So there was two choice at that time. We can convert a string in uid, and after that we can compare or we can update our specification. Yeah. So these are the mistakes at that time. We declare the specification we did. So inside the post we can do. Let's open this put call. So inside here we need to we can do one things. We can update our existing post. So here we need to pass existing post id, and let's update title, update description. So in our case we are updating in both. If we are allowing one at a time, then we can do one thing at according to that we need to update our server side code also. So let's execute these things. Okay, we received 204 is successfully completed. So now we can do one thing. So let's move to again get all post, or maybe we can do just refresh here. Yeah. So here if you see, we are getting updated titles and updated description. So yeah, it's working great. At the last we can do one things. Try out delete. We can delete this. Click on try out. Here we need to pass existing post id and click on execute. Yeah. So it's got completed successfully. We are receiving 204s, and if we try to access this post, yeah, so we will going to receive this error. So don't worry about this error. Why we are not receiving here message uh, that JSON's data or whatever we are throwing from here. So if you see, this is correctly saying that this id is not exist now because we have deleted. So in next lectures, we will explore more on side error, okay, how we can handle error more gracefully. This is for this lectures. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures, we will learn about exception handling. So if you have noticed till now, so whenever we are making any request, uh, in case of a post ID is not exist and we are trying to get the post IDs, the exception thing is not working as expected. So in a contract, what how we have declared? We have declared in case whenever we have exception 400 500, this is the data we are going to send. So we will going to send one object. Inside that objects we will have a code and message. So this is the interface we have exposed. So we need to satisfy the same interface instead of sending us some generic or default exceptional handling exception message from our server. That thing will not going to be work. This is some things we have exposed. Then we need to satisfy the same things from our application. So let me run these applications, and after that I will show you. Yeah. So application is started. So if we go, we can do one thing. So inside, if you don't have this post ID, you can do one thing. So maybe create a post and get the post ID and just change something else. Just modify instead of us 8 we need 9. Any just try to create any UID which is not exist in our database. So if we execute these things, then how it will going to return? So if you see, this is returning a 500 internal server error status code. This is not we need. Actually, in case id will not present, this is the http status we are supposed to returns and with some message. So this is the interface we have exposed. So let's implement that things. So for now, if you wondering how this error handling is working, so if you are completely new for the spring boots, so basically this is the default behavior. So ideally whenever we write any application in spring boots, so there is a error controller. So we need to implement that error controller, and we need to provide our functionality how we will going to deal with the errors. If we don't provide any win for that error controllers, then it's switch to the default implementations. So now let's do one thing. So in our package, let's create a let's create a new package handler, maybe a exceptional handler. So inside this, let's create a class, and name of this class will going to be custom. Yeah, one more things, let's rename this is not a good name actually. Let's rename this to the handler only, so that in futures if we want to add any handlers, we can add in this package. Yeah. So inside handler we have a custom exceptional handler. So basically how we will going to deal with the exceptionals handling. So we will going to follow the AOP principles. So if you are completely new for the AOP, then I really encourage you to please read more about the AOP, because this is a very good programming aspect. So you this is the very good patterns. Actually you need to be aware about this thing. So AOP says that whenever we have any cross-cutting concern in our applications, so in that case we can deal with the we can deal all these cross-cuttings concerns in one place. So what is the cross-cutting concerns? Actually cross-cutting concerns like some functionality which can affect the whole applications. So like user authentication, this is the cross-cutting concerns. And like logging, this is the cross-cutting concerns. Whenever if we change the logging, it can affect the whole applications. and just when we perform some analytic operations, like analytic operations ki how much time a function is taking to execute. If some functions is some request is taking so much time, at that time we want to raise any emails and any alert, something like that. These kinds of a functionality is a cross cutting concerns. In a similar way, ABC exceptional handlings also. So how we will going to deal with the exceptions inside the controllers, inside the services. So whenever, just think like that, if we are retrieving from the database some records and that records is not exist and which is requested by the client, so how we will going to deal with this kinds of situation. In a service layer, we throw the we throw the exceptions, not found exceptions, with some message ki, hey, this is the id requested by the client, but it is does not exist in our database. So we throw some message ki, hey, this id is not exist in our database. So when we throw the exceptions from a service layer, just think like that, that exceptions will going to propagate to the clients. But along with that message, are we sending any http status, are we sending any other information, how these things will going to be achieved? So for these things, we will going to create, just think like that, we will going to create one entry points and exit points, sorry. So for these things, just think like that, with the help of AOP, what we will going to do, whenever any exceptions we throw from our applications, so somewhere in our code we will going to write a code, that code will going to catch all the exceptions, and based on the exceptions, just like if we throw not found exceptions, okay, so we will catch that exception somewhere in our code base, and in that code base, once we receive the not found exceptions, at that time we will going to prepare some error objects and we will going to send that objects like we have declared in our specification. So that things how we will going to achieve. So let's first declare exception. So first, let's create one sealed class API exception. So this will going to receive some message and some code. Yeah, and it will, yeah. So here we have created one API exceptions, and we have it is the type of runtime exceptions. So now let's create so with the API exceptions we have enforced we need a message, we need a code. So now when we create not found exceptions, let's create not found exception. So inside the not found exceptions, first we need a message, after that we need a code, sorry. So code will going to be http status dot, sorry, my bad, yeah. So for this code things, so whenever any from our application we will throw not found exceptions, we know that at that time we need to assign a 404 exceptions not found. So here let's assign the value, yeah. And also let's extend API exception and pass this message and code, yeah. So now likewise we will going to create so many functions like a wait request exceptions and something like that, and we just need to at that time we just need to decide the what will be the status code in case whenever that exceptions will we will going to throw. So inside now handler, how we will going to catch all these exceptions here we have declared. So first things, let annotate this class with a controller advice. I really encourage you to please read about AOP. So now when we declare this a controller advice, so just think like that this will going to intercept with this inside this class we can intercept uh, executions of any endpoints which is declared inside the controller. So whenever any functions will invoke, so here inside that we can write a code in such a way that we can intercept these kinds of things. So here we just need a one functions whenever any exceptions we throw from our applications, and that exception is a type of our API exceptions. We just need to catch all those exceptions. So how we will going to do that? Just write on API exception. So whenever this functions will invoke, this will going to receive this on API exceptions type. Yeah, and from here we will going to return a response entity, and here we need to return a response entity which is type of a error. So this error will come from our models. So this is the errors which we have declared in our specification. Whenever any error happens, this is the objects we will going to return. So here inside inside this function, one more things we need to annotate this function with exceptional handler, which is again come from Spring framework. So inside this exceptional handler we need to pass the value which type of exception we wants to capture. So inside the value, it's a array type. So here we can pass class API exceptions colon colon class. Yeah. So in short, if you see this, so we just have declared these things ki whenever any API exception is throw from our applications, this function will going to be execute. This is the handler, very much specific to API exceptional handler. So inside here whenever this functions will invokes, we know that the exception is will going to API exception, that's why this function will going to invoke. So from here we can return response entity. So from here we can return response entity. So first we need to pass error. So inside error we need code as we have declared inside in our specification, and that code again will going to come from ex.getCode. Yeah, and we need to pass message, and this message will came from ex.message. Yeah, and after that we need to pass status. Okay, we can do in another way, uh, response entity dot status. Yeah, so here we can pass ex dot code. Yeah, like this, and after that we just need to pass body, and body will going to be this. Yeah, so now it should clear. So here inside the status it will going to receive some integers value. So we have passed this ex dot status from here, and inside the body we have passed error objects. Inside error object we have passed status code and our message whatever we are throwing from our applications. So this is how we can create a exceptional handler. I hope it's clear for you. It's very simple. So this is not the only one thing you can achieve from AOP provide lots of things. I really encourage you to please explore these things. Yeah. So after that let's go to our post controller. So inside the post controller, here we are throwing in not found exception. So let's copy this message. So instead of this exceptions, we will going to throw not found, not found exception, and it is coming from OpenAPI handlers. Please make sure you are importing from the right place. Yeah, and let's copy this thing. And here we need same things. Let's replace this not found exception, and also here we need same. And for this runtime exception, so here if you see what kind of exception we should throw here, processing exception. At the time of processing, so we fail to execute. I am leaving this up to you. Just create one exceptions class for corresponding to that and extend that API exceptions, and rest our exception handler will do that everything. Maybe you can throw an internal server error, anything. Yeah, I am leaving this up to you. So now we have refactor everywhere. So now if we run our application, so let's run this. Okay, application has been started. So now open this again, UI. So this was the request we were making, get post, and this is the ID we have passed, and this ID does not exist in our database. It's a random ID. Or also whenever we are starting, we are using in memory a list, so that's why every will going to be erased. Yeah. So if we execute this thing, so now let's see what we will going to receive. Yeah, so if you see this time we are getting a 404. This is the expected things, and this is the body, response body. Inside response body we will going to have a code 404, and this is the message. This is this ID is not exist, so this is what we want exactly. So let me copy this URLs, and let's, yeah, if we make this from here, it will be more clear to you. Yeah, this is what we are receiving. So now it is working as expected. So I hope this thing is clear for you, how to handle exceptions in with Spring Boot REST APIs. So I hope you enjoy this lectures. This is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will see a delegation pattern. So for that we need to do something. So now I am going to delete this post controller. So you can do one thing. So just add initialize the git, and you can check out this complete code in a new branch, and on the main branch you can continue with me. Yeah. So I am going to delete this controllers. So let's delete this. We don't need controllers. So let's open this API config files. So now we will going to mark this as a false, and after that let's add a uh, new fields, a delegate patterns. Again, this is a boolean. By default value of this is false, so we need to enable this, mark this as true. So after that open terminals, and after that just run a command gradle w clean build. Sorry. Let's wait for this commands to complete. Okay, so it's got completed. So after that, yeah. So now once we enable this delegation pattern, so after that you will notice uh, so many files has been added inside our package. And one more thing inside OpenAPI tools. So now if you see, we already discussed about this thing, applications.kt files. So these files also got added. So we don't need this bootstrap applications files actually. So inside the build.gradles, So we can now enable these things or uncomment these things. So we will at the times we are adding generated code, we need to exclude this applications.kt files. And let's sync this. Don't forget to click on this icons, and in case that icon is not available for you, you just need to click on this reload. So let's discuss what exactly we got. So inside OpenAPI demo, we will going to have two files inside the API. Let's open this API. So first things here is it same, we have a post interface. So let's open second post controller. So if you see, we have auto generated post controller. So that post controller is implementing this post interface, and here we have something new class post delegate. So basically what this delegate is doing. So let's open this post delegate. So this is the post delegate interface. So here if you see, we have everything. So like add post and delete post and get all post, these are the functions we have defined in our OpenAPI specification. So all the functions are available inside a post delegate files. So basically what is happening, so now we will not going to implement this controller. So we gave this responsibility to the open generators ki, hey open generators, now you take the responsibility of the controllers and just generate the controllers and just provide the delegations. So in this delegate interface we have all the functions. So we will going to implement these functions inside our code base. So if you see, this times it is annotated with a controller, so it's a MPC controller. So it's not only REST controllers. So it will going to provide the both functionality, so no need to be worry about these things. And along with this, if you see, model file is everything will going to be same inside this package. So this one file is also got created, we need to exclude this file. So we have added that things inside a build.gradle file. So we have excluded these things. So this is the delegation patterns actually. So in the delegations, so basically whenever any request will comes to this controller, so this controllers will going to delegate this request. And now we just need to create the delegation IMPLs. So basically if you think about this patterns, so now we are not going to start our application from the controller levels. So we gave the controller a responsibility to complete it to the OpenAPI code generators. Because if we closely see the controllers, so actually what we add inside the controller, we don't add any kind of a business. Whatever we are receiving from a downstream services, we are just inside the controllers, we are just calling our services, and whatever we are receiving, we are just passing the appropriate uh, d- with the appropriate HTTP status. We are just passing that data to the clients. So in so so this is a delegation, or maybe in a later point of a time we will see comparisons between interface only and delegations patterns. But one thing's here, by default, open apis open api provide that interface only implementations, not the delegation patterns. So defaults, open api provides a interface only approaches. So in the next lectures we will going to write delegation post delegate impl file. This is for this lectures. I hope you enjoy, and please don't forget to exclude these files, otherwise our code will not start. Let me show you. Just click on this, start your application. Yeah, because it is starting, because we have inside we have excluded that applications.kt files. Otherwise it will not start, it will throw an exceptions by just saying we have a two win for the Spring Boot applications, one we need to exclude. So please don't forget to exclude this newly created applications.kt files. So let's meet in next lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in previous lectures we have enabled delegations patterns and we have generated the code. So now, we will going to integrate this delegation patterns from end to end. So what I mean, so we will going to save the data from H2 and we will going to retrieve from the H2. So it will give a more real world experience on working on a application. So let's start with data JPA. So first we need to add the data JPA dependency. Let's copy this and paste it here, and we just need to remove this thing. It will going to data hyphen JPA, and once you add this data hyphen JPA dependency, just refresh dependencies. And after that, one more things, let's open your resources files, and we will going to use just rename this to YAML file. We will going to use a YAML format instead of a properties, so it looks great actually. So just comment out these things. So we again need to define these things in a YML format. So it's like Spring docs. Inside the Spring docs we need to enable API doc, and inside the API doc enable should be a false. Yeah. And once you select this, after the next property is Swagger UI. So let's select Swagger UI. Inside the Swagger UI we need URL. Yeah, and URL will going to be a slash open hyphen API dot YML. Yeah. So once you fix these things in YML, so after that there is a more few properties for we will going to use in data JPA. So for now we will going to use a data source H2 in memory database. So let's define some data source in inside the Spring. Inside the Spring we will going to have a data source. So inside the data source first property we will going to have the URL. So here we need to define the URL. So in our case URL will going to be jdbc colon h2 colon mem, and after that we need to define the name of database. So in our case it's like a test db, and after that we need to define a username. So username will going to be a essay in our case, and after that we need to define the password. So password we can write anything pass. Yeah. And after that we need to define a one more hikari property. So inside the hikari we will going to use a connection uh, test query whenever this database will going to up. So hikari will going to issue this test query just to verify our data is up and in a healthy state. Just select one. Yeah. And after that we need to define a few JPA property. So inside the JPA we will going to have first we need to define the database will going to in our case H2, and after that database we need to enable show SQL so that we can see all the SQLs which is getting generated in our log, just for the just for the more understanding. Yeah. And after that we inside the H2 let's enable console also. We will going to once we uh, once we connect with H2 database, we will going to verify the database by connecting from our browser. So for that we need to enable H2 console. So once we enable this H2 console, so basically it will going to host the H2 on 808 slash H2 hyphen consoles endpoints. So where we can connect with our H2 database in memory database and we can verify the data. So it's really helpful uh, in during development. So basically these are the properties we will going to use. Yeah. So in next lectures we will going to create the entity. So for this is lecture, this is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will create a post entity and a post repo. So let's start with this. So first we need to create a package model. So inside the models we will going to create a Kotlin class, name it post entity, and we need to annotate this with the entity annotations which is coming from Java persistence. And after that we need to annotate with tables, and inside the tables let's define a name of this entity. Class name will going to be the post. Yeah. So after that, one more things, for defining a unique identifier for this post entity. So we will going to take this unique identifier as a part of the constructor. So define here val id. Val means immutables. So id will going to be a type of uuid, and it will going to be the option label. So why option label? When we create the entity, at that time these things will going to be a null. When we fetch the entity from a database, at that time and id will not going to be the null. Yeah. Annotate this with id, and after that id we need to annotate this with a generated value. So inside the generated value we have a strategy. So we need to define a strategy here. So strategy will going to be a generation type auto, and after that there is a one more field generators. So the value of generators will going to be uuid. And after that we need to define one more annotations type. So inside the type let's define a type. It will going to be uuid hyphen char in a database. Yeah. And annotate this with a column. So inside the columns, name of this field inside our database will going to be id, and it will nullable false. Yeah. So once we define the id, and it will going we will going to take this as a part of constructor. So after that there is a few more fields we need to define, like a titles, descriptions, and author name. So let's define also where, and next field is title, and it will going to be type of string. So yeah, and it will going to be a nullable. So let's define a null. Yeah. And also annotate with a column. Inside the column first we need to define the name will going to be title for our data, for our tables. So after that we need to define a nullable. So nullable will going to be false. Yeah. After the titles, one more field we need to define a description, and again it will going to be type of a string, and this is also a nullable. And let's annotate with the descriptions also with the column annotations. And here let's define the name of this column will going to be a description in our database. Yeah. And it will going to be a nullable. We can do that. Let's copy these fields and paste it here, and name this field. This is the our last field. It's a author name, and let's copy and paste it here also. Yeah. So we are done with a post entity. So after that we just need to create our corresponding post repository. So for creating a post repository, let's create a new package and name this package is a repository. And inside the repository, if you are wondering why we will going to have only one field, why I'm going to create this packages and segregating all the files, just for the as a best practices. So for this projects, segregating is not uh, maybe we can segregate or we cannot segregate, but as a practice we always remember when we work on any real-time project. So this is how we should design our folder structures. So name this post repository, and it will going to be interface. Yeah, and annotate this with a repository, and also we need to extend with a JPA repository, JPA interface. Yeah. So first thing here we need to pass our entity. So our entity is a post entity for which we are creating this repo. So first entity, our entity is a post entity, and the unique identifier type is a UUID. The rest things JPA will going to provides, like basic functionality like savings, fetchings, and all these things. So I am just assuming you are already aware about the JPA repository and CRUD repository. So if you see, these are all the functions for implementation. JPA will going to provides all for all the interfaces here in this interfaces. All the functions they have defines, like a find all by ID, save all, everything. At the runtime, JPA will going to provide the implementation for all these functions. These curly brackets is redundant, we can remove this. Yeah. So in next lectures we will going to create uh, our post delegation IMPLs, and we will going to extend our we will going to implement our post delegation. So in that lectures we will learn how we will going to use this post repository, and how we will going to save the data in our database, in memory database H2. So I hope it's clear for you, and I really encourage you to please, if you are new to JPA repository, please read more about this thing. This is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. In this lectures we will create a post delegate IMPL. So let's create a new package and name it delegate. Inside this package, let's create a Kotlin class and name this post delegate IMPL. Yeah, and here we need to extend a post delegate, which is coming from a OpenAPI demo API. So if you remember, so here inside the API we have a post delegate interface. So basically we will going to implement this interface. So here we have a add post, delete post via ID, everything which will be invoked via post controllers auto generated. So we just need to provide the implementation for all these functions. So let's annotate this with a service, and here, yeah, just click command N on Mac. So just click override method selects, and inside the override methods, let's select all these methods we will going to overrides. Yeah, and also one more thing. So inside a post delegate IMPLs, we will going to need a post repository. So let's import the bean of post repository private val, and here name this as a post repository. Yeah, So this will, if you see, we have added inside our constructors. So this will Spring Boot will going to create the bean of post repository and will going to pass to our post delegation IMPL. So now inside add post, so let's start with the add post. So inside the add post, first we need to create the new post entity. So let's do that. New post, and let's invoke post entity. And here, at the time of creating post entity, we don't know what will be the id of this post entity, so that's why we will not going to pass anything inside the constructors. Let's invoke apply functions. So basically the use of apply is here when we are creating this post entity. Along with this, these are the operation we want to also performs. So here we can assign like titles value will going to be add post request body dot titles, and after the titles we will going to need a descriptions, add post request body dot description, and after the descriptions we need to assign author names also. Yeah, once we create the new post entity, so after that we need to save this entity, save this entity in our database. So while saving, it can throw an exception. So here in Kotlin we can use a run catching function. Yeah, it's just like you can compare like this thing with Kotlin, sorry, with a Java try catch. If you open this, it will going to take some time, just bear with me. Yeah, so if you see inside the run catching, so basically it's they have wrapped inside try and catch, and once this block we will going to pass these functions, they will going to invoke these functions, and whatever these functions will going to return, they will going to set inside the result success. In case of failure, they will going to set inside the failure. Just result is just a wrapper for wrapping the success and failures. Yeah, so here inside the post catching, we will going to perform like a post repository dot save, and here we need to pass our new post entity. Yeah, so once this operation will going to be a success, after that we have another function fold. So inside the fold, so fold will going to receive two functions. First is on success. So here we can define on success, and after that on success, it's here another functions on failures. Yeah, so if this operation will going to successfully completed, so save will return the new entity. So if you see here, it is will going to a point to a post entity. So save whatever inside the run catchings, the last line whatever is returning, it will become the return type of the run catching. So the same return, the same post entity will going to receive inside the on success if everything is successful. So let's get a post id, newly created post id. So here it dot id, if id is there, then assign the id to post id. Otherwise from here we can return a response entity, something like a http internal server error. Due to some reason we have a valid data, we have a valid everything, due to some reason it fails to save inside the database. It's failed to save, failed to generate the id, and we will going to receive an empty id. So in that case we will going to throw an internal server error. So if we receive the post id, after that we can create our success response. So inside the response entity, we will going to create a add post response. So inside the post response, we just need to pass this post id. Yeah, and along with this, our http status will going to be created. Yeah, So now I have a one question. So here I have not written anything. So this is the last line. If it is successfully executed, so if there is a ID, after that this line will going to be executed. So this is the same line. So which will be turn out the return type for the run catchings. So whatever the last line we are writing, it will become the return of that functions. So please remember this. Yeah. In case of a failure, we can write a response entity, and here we can pass like a something bad request or like this http status dot bad request. Yeah, and here just return whatever we are returning from here. So here we have completed add post functions. So one more things, let's add logger also. So for adding the logger, there is in Kotlin provide a companion object. So companion, just you can think compare this thing like some for creating static functions. So here inside the companion objects, we will going to create a val logger. Logger factory get loggers. So inside this loggers, we just need to provide this class name, class dot java. Yeah. So now we can use this loggers for logging. So here we can use like a loggers dot info, executing. Sorry, it will be info. Yeah. So in case of a success, here we can add the logger. Maybe not here. Yeah. Here we can add logger dot info, post id will going to be post id. Yeah. In case of a failure, we can add the logger here, loggers dot error. This it will going to represents the current exceptions, so throwables. Yeah, sorry, it will yeah. So now we can do one thing. So let's run this and let's verify add post is working as expected or not. Okay, so it's getting started. So if you see here, so from just scroll up. So if you see here, so it is saying like bootstrapping, and if you see here, it's saying like a found one jpa or repository interface. So for me it look like it's successfully able to create a post entity in our database. So if you see here, database available at this jdbc this URL. Our database name is test db. So let's copy this thing. So let's first create some records. For creating a record, just open the same URL swaggers UI HTMLs. First we will going to create one post, and after that we will going to verify inside the database. So let's click here and click on this try it out. So here just override this title, some description, and author name like Smith, and now click on execute. Yeah, scroll down. So if you see it's successfully completed, this is the post id we are getting from our service. So now just open this url, so localhost 8080 slash h2 console, and open this, and here we can interact with the h2 embedded database. So jdbc url will going to be these things. So if you are wondering from how you can get this, you can get from here also, and you can get the same from applications by YAML also. So inside the application by YAML, this is the URLs we are providing. In our case, username is a SA and password is a PASS. So let's go back. So just pass the username here SA, and password will going to be PASS, and click on connect. So it will going to open h2 instance. So here just click on this post. So here you can verify, just cancel it, never, just click on post. So here you can verify we have id, author's name, descriptions and titles, and just click on post. So it will going to create a select command, select star from post, and after that just click on run. And here you can see we have a one records, we just created these things. So our post endpoints is working perfectly fine. So this is for this lecture. In next lectures we will complete the rest endpoints. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in previous lectures we have completed add post functionality. So in this lectures we will going to complete the get all post and get post by id. So let's start with the get all posts. So first delete these things. So first we need to retrieve all the posts. Let's retrieve all the posts. First, post repositories dot find all. Yeah. So once we get all the posts, so after that we need to iterate over these posts, and we need to convert this post in post DTO. So let's do that. Posts dots, here must be something like filters, sorry, maps. So inside the map we will going to get the one post. So here we can create the post DTO, and here first we need to pass the id. So id will going to be it dot id, and after that we need titles. So title will going to be it dot titles, and description it dot description, and after that we need author name. So it dot author names. Yeah. So it will return post dtos. Yeah. So if you are wondering about this, it actually, so it just the current objects. So instead of writings like this these things, so we can omit these things, and we can directly write like this. If you want to rename it, then here you can rename this like a post or something. So I'm going to remove these things. So let's keep this simple. Yeah. So once we create a post DTO, so after that, okay, it should be a well. Yeah. So it will going to return a list of post DTO. Okay. Then once we receive this all the list of DTO, after that we can prepare a response entity. So, okay, get post response. So here we can pass our post DTO, and along with post DTO we need to pass a HTTP status. Okay, HTTP status dot okay. Yeah. So we have completed get all post functionality. So we can verify these things. Let's start our applications and let's see. It will going to take some times for building and running the application. Yeah, it's started. So let's open browsers. So open Swagger UI, and inside the Swagger UI we have one. Yeah, so this is the endpoints where we can retrieve all the posts. So let's open this and click on try it out and execute. Okay, so it's returning a empty post array because we don't have anything. So we are using an in-memory database. So that is the reason it's whenever we start our application, it will going to delete everything. So let's create a post. So I'm going to create a post with this data title, some description, and this thing. This is the old record actually. Let's click on execute. So post gets created successfully. Here if you see, we are receiving 201 status. It means 201 means created. So let's click on execute again. So if you see here, we are getting this post newly created. So it is working as expected. So let's move to IntelliJ. Okay, so let's start with the implementations of getPostById. So well, post optional. Okay, optional. So equals post repository dot. Here we can pass our post ID. Yeah, so it will going to return a optional object. So here we can write like well, post optional dot or else throw. So here if post exists, then return the post, otherwise throw the exceptions. So here we will going to throw the exceptions. Okay, let me remove this thing. So here we will going to throw the exceptions not found. Not found. Yeah, let's imports. So here just pass the message post with post ID. Does not exist. Yeah, so here if this optional is empty, then we will going to throw an exceptions key. Hey, this object is, this post is, does not exist. So if this post is exist, after that we need to create this post inside into a post DTO, and we need to return. So let's return from here response entity, and here we will going to wrap our post inside post TTO. Let's pass post TTO. Yeah, so here first field is ID. So here we can pass like post dot ID, and after that we need title, post dot title. After that we need description. Yeah, so once we defines all the fields, so after that we need to define a HTTP status. Yeah, so we have completed our get post by ID endpoint. So we can run it, and we can verify this. So let's run our applications and let's see it is working as expected or not. Okay, so our application has been started. So now let's open Swagger UI. So inside Swagger UI, let's first create a post. So go to the post endpoints and fill this data, and after that execute. Okay, so here our post is got created. So let's copy this post ID and we will going to fetch this post. So let's open this getByPostId function. So here click on try it out, and here we can pass the post id and click on executes. Yeah, so if you see here, we are getting it is successfully retrieving the our posts. So in case if we pass a wrong id, just replace 3 to 1 and try to execute. Yeah, so if you see here, we are throwing a 404 not found http code, and with this message, post with post id, this does not exist. So yeah, it is working as expected. So this is for this lectures. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in previous lectures we have completed get all post and get post by id. So in this lectures we will going to implement delete post by id and update post by id. So let's start with the delete post by id. So we will going to retrieve first post repository dot find by id, or if you want to delete directly like a delete by id, you can use that thing also. So I'm going to with the first retrieves, and we will going to verify if it is does not return anything, we will going to throw an exceptions, and after that in successful case we will going to remove. This is the way we will going to implement this thing. So well post optional. So after that we can use post optionals dot or else get, yeah, or else throw. So here we will going to throw the exceptions in case if this post is not exist. So we will going to throw not found exception. Post does not exist, and here we can pass post id also, post id. Yeah, so if this post is exist, it will going to return that post entity. So once we receive this post entity, after that we can do remove post repository dot delete, and here we can pass this post entity. Yeah, so once we delete this successfully, after that we can do one thing here. Just we need to return a response entity with status no content. It's just like whatever the operations they have invoked, users has invoked, is completed. Yeah, so in the same way we can implement update post by id also. So here let's start with this. So here we will going to get the post id. First we need to retrieve that post optional slash post repository. First let's retrieve that post, and here we need to pass that post id. Okay, so once we retrieve this post, and if this post is does not exist, we need to throw the same exceptions previously we already throw. Yeah, so let me copy that. Yeah, let's copy this. We will going to throw the same exception with the same message in case post is not exist. If post is exist, so after that we can do one thing. uh, in our case, let's take description is assignable, means editable, so we can update post repository dot description post dot title, update post repository dot title. So for example, just take these two fields are only updatable. So once we update these fields, so after that we just need to post repository dot save. Yeah, and once we save this entity, after that just return this response entity, and here we just need to return http status no content. It means operations has been complete successfully. Yeah, So now let's do one thing. So just start the applications and verify it is working as expected or not. Okay, application has been started. So let's open a browser. So in browsers, let's do one thing. So first open add post add post request. So yeah, this is the one. So let's execute, just fill these data, title, description, author name. So let's execute. First we need to insert the post. So once we insert the post, so here if you see, it will going to return a post id. So let's copy this post id and let's open yeah, this put request. So let's open this and click on try it out. So here we will going to pass our post id. Remove this. So here just pass title, new title. I am going to pass just new titles, and here just new description. Yeah, once you pass the titles and descriptions, after that we need to execute this request. So click on the execute and let's see. Yeah, if you scroll down, so it is returning 204. It means it's successfully completed. So let's do that one thing. So just open a get post by id. So this is the get post by id. So here remove this and paste the our new uid. So click on the execute. It will going to return the post id. It will going to return the post by this post id. So here if you see, it's we have a title as a new titles and description as a new descriptions. So it means our update operation is working successfully. So now let's do that one thing. So we will going to sorry, we will going to delete this existing post. So let's open delete request. So here just we need to click on this try it out. So here we will going to paste our post id and let's execute this. Yeah, so it's got successful. So it is returned 204. So it is working as expected. So now let's open again your get by post id just to verify. This time if we execute this get by post id with the same post id, it should return a 404 not found. So let's execute. So if you see, it is returning 404 not found with the message post with this post id does not exist. So I hope it's clear for you. So during this course, we have learned how to create, how to approach the API first driven development. So we have seen interface only implementations where we have learned, if we are not interested by providing this creation of controllers to the auto generation. If you want to create this yourself, so you can go with the interface only implementations where you have more controls. So if you want to give this responsibility to the auto generations, so you can do that and you can directly use this open delegations patterns. So for me, it's open delegation patterns is it's good, because here we can do whatever we want to do. So we at the time we will generate these codes, so we don't need to bother about updations of controllers. So I hope it's clear for you. And in this lectures, during this delegations, we have almost completed all the CRUD operations from end to end with the in-memory database. So it will be very helpful. So this is I really encourage you to just read more about this API first developments, and just listen more tech talk on this on YouTube. So it will give you more insight and why we need to do this approach, why not the existing ones. Like We never wrote API specifications first. We just implement our implementations, and after that we annotate, we add the Swagger's UI. So just I really encourage you to read more about this thing, so it will give you more insight and you will have a more data points, so that you have a you can decide in your upcoming upcoming project, so what approach you need to do, and it will be helpful in your scenario or not. So this is for this lectures. Thank you.